This is college gymnastics on ESPN3, live from Reynolds Coliseum on the campus of NC State University in Raleigh, North Carolina. We welcome you down here on the floor in Reynolds Coliseum alongside Rachel Garland. I'm Darren Vaught, and Rachel, 3 teams is a part of this meet, and if you look at the average scores throughout the season, it seems like it might be a bit of a disparity between the top NC State and then the other two, Centenary and William & Mary, but all 3 teams with something to perform toward today.
Yes, this week is going to be a big week for everyone because after this weekend, everything's going to be calculated by their regional qualifying score. So the rankings are going to change since right now everything's done by the average. What Centenary and William & Mary are looking for is just a strong away score. The way they're calculated, you have 6 scores. 3 have to be from away or road meets. 3 can be from home or away. It doesn't really matter there. You throw out the top, you calculate the next 5 as the average, you get the RQS, or the regional qualifying score. So Centenary, William & Mary, that is what they're looking for. NC State, a little bit of a rough week. Last week had to count a fall on bars. They're looking at replacing one of their home scores. So back on home turf and really looking for another high 195, 196 as far as tonight's performance.
The first of those 2 you mentioned trying to improve upon their highest scores of the season. The number 1 team in all of Division III, the Centenary ladies, visit NC State today.
Yes, and you can see their season highs for their just overall totals in the 48 range, which is actually pretty good. I talked to their head coach a little bit before the meet, and her big goal is just, again, it's a strong away score, but they want to hit at least 5 out of 6 routines on every event so that they can, again, put up 48s all around and have one of those big road scores. So like you mentioned, they're a strong team as long as, if you're looking at Division III team totals.
And then William & Mary, a familiar foe for NC State as they are both competitors within the Eagle.
Yeah, so William & Mary, again, looking for one of those strong road scores. Unique thing here today is they are actually not being coached by their head coach. They have their assistant coach in that helm. Essentially, it's her first year as an assistant. Brittany Emmons is who we're going to be seeing a lot tonight. Head coach Kelsey Hinton is away. She's been out for a couple seasons, but I did speak with her just a little bit before the meet. She wishes them all the best. She wishes she could be here and said good luck to the girls just overall.
And then with NC State under third-year head coach Kim Landris, again, different set of scenarios for them, but plenty to perform for.
Yes, and you can see there last week, so again, they were on home turf. Eagle Conference rivals is who they were competing against. Huge score on floor exercise, a 49.4. That's competitive with the top 10 teams in the country, but you see that 47 on the uneven bars. They had to count that fall, and that's something that their assistant coach, Bob Starkell, their typical bar coach, has worked really hard to improve just during the week. So I know they're looking for at least 5 for 6 routines on the uneven bars today.
NC State will begin at the vault, William & Mary on the bars, and Centenary at the balance beam. As you see for NC State here, Caitlin Cox getting things started.
And a great start for Cox, just that huge hop on the landing. That's one of the things that NC State, I think, struggled with last week is they're not consistent with sticking the landings or taking a small step or a small hop. Those large hops, you get into a 2/10 deduction, and when that vault's not even worth a 10, you're just giving away extra points.
This here, Jerica Harris beginning on the beam for Centenary.
Beam typically been a little bit more of a struggle event for Centenary. Just overall, they are first on beam in Division III performance, but 5th overall just in their conference. So they're in the MIC conference. And again, beam, not their strongest event. Their season high of a 48.25, and we saw that unfortunate fall already. So again, when you have 6 competitors that go up, you really want the other 5 to be able to hit those routines.
The ladies, no stranger to competing against other teams that are at higher levels. As a matter of fact, you mentioned the MIC, that's the Midwest Independent Conference. They're the only Division III member of the MIC. Harris, a bit of a misstep there with the left coming down.
Gymnasts, I will say, they have they have the tendency to wear their emotions just very outwardly. It's a very facial expression sport. And I think you could tell she was a little bit disappointed just in that performance coming off. Most of the time, if they hit their routines, they're jumping for joy. They're super excited. That one just a little bit more kind of low key on that.
Now we move to Lauren Kent of NC State at the vault.
Vault is actually not the Wolfpack's greatest event, so out of 6 teams in the Eagle competition, they're actually ranked 5th, season high of a 48.875. They are definitely capable of some very strong scores, but like we saw out of Katie Cox on that first vault, that 2/10 hop backwards, the vault's worth a 9.5. She ended up at a 9.95. She ended up at a 9.575. So those 4/10ths that she gave away can be a little bit cumbersome.
You see the 9.725 come in for William and Mary. That was Bree Greenlow first on the uneven bars. Now Mary Grayson Gordon. Kent's vault, a near perfect stick.
You had 2 side-by-side great dismounts for Mary Grayson on the uneven bars, and Lauren Kent, a fantastic vault overall. Again, what the judges are going to do with that landing, that is up to them. They have a slightly different viewpoint than we do with the cameras. Sometimes they'll give it, sometimes they won't, but again, a much better landing than Katie's from previously.
Second on the balance beam for Centenary will be Zion Baumgartner, as she awaits the green light. And we've received a score for Caitlin Cox's performance on the vault, 9.575.
Zion, a little bit, this is the time that it can be a little bit more nerve-wracking, is when you have to sit there and wait and wait and wait. And I kind of equate it to icing the kicker. It's not something that you want to do, but when a gymnast does fall previously, it does take the judges a little bit longer to calculate the score.
And to the right on your screen, senior Drew Grantham next up on the vault for NC State. All-around competitor for the pack for a few years now.
Yes, she has been one of just their star performers really since she joined the team. Vault, not her strongest event, a season high of a 9.725. She is capable of much higher than that, career high, closer to that 9.9 range, which is more average across the board. But again, just those landings overall is really where they've struggled on vault. And you saw Zion there with just that unfortunate fall. So at this point, again, they're really just looking for some strong scores overall. They will have to count a fall, unfortunately, but they can still bring everything back. Beam is a tough event to start on.
Here's Drew. Very impressive so far.
She was happy with that ball.
For three gymnasts, if you couldn't tell.
Yes, Drew is definitely the epitome of wearing your emotions on your sleeve. So she hits the landing, and she will definitely let the judges know. As we see the dismount there from Erica Marr for William and Mary on the right-hand side of your screen.
And Baumgartner gets through it for Centenary after stumbling off of the beam. And now Emily Shepard of the Wolfpack heads to the vault.
Shepard actually ranked second in the Eagle on this event, a season high of a season and career high, I should say. She's only a freshman, a 9.875. So again, the vault's only worth a 9.95. I believe we'll see 110.0 start value from William and Mary.
NC State with another performance they're pleased with.
So again, much better landings on those last couple of vaults. I think if they can really put those together for 5 out of 6 gymnasts, that they're going to slowly start to increase that overall vault team score. So you see just that tiny little,
it's a bit of a hop backward.
yeah,
not even
a little
that.
shuffle.
Yeah, shuffle,
shuffle
not even a hop. It wasn't great enough. We start to see some more scores come in for Centenary, an 8.800 as it read.
Taylor White finishing up there on the uneven bars.
White the 4th on the uneven bars for William and Mary. Katie Waldman next to come.
White actually ranked 5th in the ECAC conference, season high of a 9.75, so definitely one of their strong performers.
Dorothy Mims of Centenary. Now to the beam.
One of their stronger performers, season high of a 9.8. She's actually ranked 5th out of all the Division III schools.
We see Alexis Buechler of NC State. The Wolfpack really impressive to start on the vault.
With just one more to go, and again, hopefully they can drop that first initial score. And sometimes that's what you want. You kind of put a good score up, somebody consistent, somebody that you know can kind of lead them off right. And then, again, hopefully that's the drop score overall.
Chloe Negretti will be the 6th and final on the vault for NC State as Mims completes her routine on the balance beam.
Great routine all around. I think they really needed that just to bring that confidence back up.
And here you see Katie Waldman, who has recently garnered a lot of weekly honors for the tribe.
Waldman, the conference gymnast of the week, and one of their 3 all-arounders.
Negretti sticks the landing.
She doesn't get as excited as I would like. It's like, okay, piece of cake, and now I'm done. This is what I was expected to do. But that was a great vault. Her body stayed perfectly straight, which is one thing that the judges are looking for. If I have to be extremely critical, I would like to see a little bit more block, a little bit more height in the air. But overall, she got great distance. Her body stayed perfectly straight on that landing. Again, if you want to call it a little shuffle, because I don't think the judges will give that an official stick, but that will be a great score. And again, I think you can see why Chloe has earned some of the accolades that she has. She was named Rookie of the Week for the Eagle Conference for the 3rd consecutive week.
Cammie B. Austin awaits her turn on the balance beam. So for NC State over at the vault, by your estimation, they're going to be able to negate one of those beginning scores and collectively perform pretty well on the vault.
Definitely. I think there's still a score in, I think I saw like a 9.5 and a 9.6, so they'll still have to count one of those 9.6s. They'd love to get all those scores into the mid 9.7, 9.8 range overall. But I would say that was a pretty good rotation for NC State on the vault. Again, focusing on the landings, that's going to be huge for them in the rest of the season.
Final William and Mary gymnast on the uneven bars is Evan Pakshong.
Pakshong's got a big dismount here, one of the E dismounts, which is a double layout. Just that small little step there.
The left step back, I was going to ask, how exactly is that judged on a landing like that?
So the step is going to be a 10th deduction overall, but because she stepped back, she's not going to get additional deductions in front of that. So if she would have stepped forward, that leads the judges to believe that either there wasn't enough height or there wasn't enough rotation. So she didn't do either of that. So stepping backwards is actually the preferred way if you're going to have to take that step. So I thought that was a great bar routine and a very good rotation for William and Mary.
So the Wolfpack has completed their run through the vault. For William and Mary, they're done on the bars, and all that's left is the balance beam.
So Cammie B finishing up there. Overall, strong routine again. I think they had a couple rough goes at the beginning, but the last couple have really pulled things back.
And 2 remaining for the ladies, Kendall Sanders and Kennedy Stevens.
And we do have, it looks like an exhibition on bars. They're not given to us in the lineups, which is okay. We get
a 9.8 even for Evan Pakshong is the final bar score for William and Mary. And this is Emma Wiley, freshman from right down the road, Cary, North Carolina.
So, and again, these exhibition spots, it's not going to hurt the team. It's not going to help the team. What it really does is gives the gymnast the opportunity to perform, get out there and compete, be in front of the judges. If something were to happen to somebody in the lineup, they have another person that's up and ready to go that has been out there and been performing. So it's a great opportunity for them. Definitely unfortunate. She just didn't have a lot of momentum on that pirouetting move there at the end of the routine. But she'll get up and finish strong, and again, it's still a great opportunity for her to get out and perform.
We saw Jackie Fain in her 9th season coaching Centenary. We're speaking with Kendall Sanders there prior to her routine.
Sanders ranked 8th overall in Division III competition. So her season high of a 9.725. Kind of a unique mount there, getting on the beam. I will say a lot of gymnasts take the easy route, like just jump up and get on the beam. They don't take risks as much because you don't want to fall on your mount and then have the rest of the routine ahead of you. So it's a little interesting there.
Centenary throughout the lineup seems to have had some interesting mounts. Maybe not quite that elaborate, but I don't think a one has simply jumped onto the beam.
Great leap and dance combination, one of the requirements that every gymnast has to do. They have to do a leap with a 180-degree split. They have to do things in combination. The scores actually don't start from a 10.0. They start from a 9.4, and you have to do things in combination to add bonus tenths. There's also an artistry score, which is why you see some of the dance. Some gymnasts will pull some of the dance from their floor routines to put it in their beam routine. Just it's something they already know. It's something easy for them. So far, so good. And again, beam's definitely a tough mind event to start on. You've got to be mentally strong. Great routine there.
And how about the landing? Beginning wide, shuffling to the more narrow stance.
Yeah, they're allowed to land with their feet shoulder width apart. It is a safety measure. You don't want to land with your ankles too close together and risk injury there. So you can land with them shoulder width apart. You're supposed to be able to, kind of like Dorothy, you clip your heels together. So that's what you're supposed to be able to do. But then that hop to the side will definitely be a deduction. She may get a directionality deduction since she hopped to the side versus forwards or backwards.
So that leaves Kennedy Stevens to compete on the balance beam for Centenary, but we'll get a quick break after rotation 1 has completed here at Reynolds Coliseum.
And again, they're the only performers right now, so it is a little bit tougher. Vault and bars are such quick events that now they're kind of the lone gymnast, so all eyes on them overall. Just getting some last-minute pointers there.
And like you said, Rachel, with no more exhibitions happening around them,
I will say the nice thing about starting on beam is you can get it out of the way. So I guess it's better than ending on beam. I'm not really sure. Beam was not my event.
Is that universal? Now you as a gymnast did not like the balance beam. Is that, would you say, across all gymnasts, or would it be the exception to enjoy balance beam?
There are definitely a lot of gymnasts that enjoy balance beam. Surprisingly, I found that quite shocking when I had teammates that told me they really liked competing on beam. I think it's a kind of a 50-50 mix. Some love to start on beam and again kind of get it out of the way. It is again the most nerve-wracking event for most people. But at the same time, some people loved ending on beam because if it was something that they enjoyed performing, it was kind of relaxing and calming. So I think you get a good mix of people. I will gladly let other people compete in the beam lineup, though. I'll stick to 3 other events.
Well, I guess second to the floor exercise, it probably allows for the most creative flexibility as well. So if you have a gymnast that's particularly expressive or artistic and likes to incorporate that into what they do as an athlete.
It definitely is. And you can get a lot of variety on balance beam. So she's obviously, got some different holds, different skills that she has incorporated. Instead of seeing a switch leap where the legs kind of leap forward and then switch and go the other direction, she just did a regular split leap for her pass. So it does leave a little bit more room for variety, which is kind of nice. Great acro series, and then just that wobble on the full turn. But I think overall a great routine out of Kennedy, and overall I would say a pretty good rotation. They did have the 2 falls early on, but really rallied back with those last 4 routines. So I still think it'll be a pretty good score for the team on this away meet.
Kennedy Stevens of Centenary finishes things up for rotation 1. We'll have scores on the other side of a quick break here from Reynolds Coliseum. Back for rotation number 2 here at Reynolds Coliseum as NC State began the meet on the vault at a 48.925 overall. And a couple of missteps there at the beginning, Rachel, but as you said, cleaned it up nicely there.
Yeah, they really did a great job coming back in those last 4 scores that you can see. Unfortunately, not that a 9.575 or a 9.675 is bad, but it's just not where they want to be. They still ended up at a 49.25 or 48.925, which is a new season high for them, but it doesn't push them over that 49 threshold, which is really where they really want to get on each event consistently.
And then William & Mary began on the uneven bars, and as it currently stands, just a hair ahead of NC State when looking 1-to-1 in that context, but they fared very well.
Yeah, fantastic bar rotation for William & Mary. We showed as much as we could. It's hard with 3 teams competing overall, but you can just see by the scores there, they have to drop a 9.725, which is fantastic for them. And again, another season high. So coming into this, they were ranked first in the ECAC on bars with a 48.85. Now that's a 48.95. So a great addition there in terms of adding a 10th overall.
And Centenary on the balance beam, as you deem it, perhaps the toughest event to begin on.
Yeah, not quite to where we know that they can perform. A 48.25 is their season high. They unfortunately had those 2 falls at the beginning, ended up having to count one of the scores in the 8s. But I know they're ready to rally back on floor. It's a fun event, so they can really pick things up there.
That's Emily Shepard getting things started on the bars for NC State.
And bars, one of NC State's best events. Season high of a 49.075. They're ranked first in the Eagle Conference, and out of the top 10 performers in Eagle, NC State has 4 of those spots. Emily Shepard coming in 7th with a season high of a 9.825.
That's a couple of good scores, presumably for her so far today. Centenary begins with the floor exercise, not a strength of theirs.
Yeah, again, they're really just coming in. They're looking for those good away scores. So this is Jenny Jackson. We're going to see her on the remaining 3 events tonight.
Mary Grayson Gordon on the beam for William & Mary as well, to your left.
Great opening double back there for Jenny. I did get a chance to watch a little bit of their warm-ups on this event for the ladies, the Centenary ladies. And some of them were struggling with the landing, so I'm really excited just to see if they can put everything to their feet. Again, their head coach, Jackie, she just wants 5 for 6 routines on each event.
Gordon finishes up on the balance beam to get things started for William & Mary.
And a strong start for William & Mary there. I think that's going to be better than her season high. Looks like season high of a 9.45 or so, so maybe struggled a little bit in the last few times that she's competed. But I thought that was a great routine, a great start for the Tribe.
Jackson first on the floor exercise. Drew Grantham, we missed over on the bars for NC State. But again, a standout all-around competitor for the Wolfpack.
Take a look here. This is the replay of her routine. Again, so far pretty clean. One thing that the judges are looking for are those handstands on top of the bar, a nice stuck landing at the end, which it looks like she had there. Again, it's just that little, it looks like a stick overall, but it's that shuffle of the feet that's still gonna cause the judges to take a 0.5 And it doesn't seem like a lot, but again, going into this event, William & Mary in the lead by 0.025. So a 0.5, that can be the difference between make it or break it.
And to be fair, Drew, again, wears her emotions on her sleeve.
She definitely does.
Seemed to be pretty happy with that.
Yes, that was a great routine for her. Meredith Robinson is who we're taking a look at currently. You see Coach Starkell there on the bottom, or I guess on the right side of your screen. I said, what's the difference between last week and this week? And he said, we do team bars every week before a competition. The last 2 weeks in team bars, they've been 14 for 14 in routines. So last week with the 2 falls, just a fluke. Take a look at that dismount there. And again, is it a stick? Is it a shuffle? I think it really depends. Our viewpoint, again, is slightly different than those judges. So it's just going to depend on how much they saw those feet move. Did they come off the mat, or was it just more of a little bounce?
Erica Marr now to the balance beam for William & Mary as the floor routine from Zion Baumgartner. Rose Deschler.
Great performer for William & Mary on beam. Season high of a 9.7 on this event. Deschler able to pull that off. A front layout into an immediate punch front full. A little bit under rotated there, but was able to stay on her feet, kind of hold on, wait, just get a little deduction on the landing there.
Forgive me, Rachel, we're seeing Emma Wiley on the beam as they've switched the order a little bit. Marr will be a couple of gymnasts from now. We saw Wiley.
Well, Wiley not
exhibition
too far
on the bars.
Wiley's not too far behind Marr. She's at a 9.675. So. So again, that 0.025 makes a big difference. But so far, so good for Wiley as Katie Cox mounts for the Wolfpack.
And Cox looking to bounce back. She led off with the vault for NC State.
I'm honestly not sure what happened there. Just couldn't quite hold on. Everything looks good, and the next thing you know, her feet are on the ground when they're not supposed to be. Definitely unfortunate because Katie is one of their strong bar performers. She's actually ranked 3rd in the Eagle on this event. Typically a very high performer, 9.8, 9.85s all around normally. She's got a big dismount here, one of the hardest in NCAA, a full twisting double layout, which she nails. That is a stuck landing.
That's, again, as you said, unfortunate because of the mishap prior to that. Because
it really is.
That is as clean of a landing as we've seen for any event so far.
That's what the judges want to give this stick. It's the one that their feet literally just glue to the mat. They don't move. The mats are squishy, and so a lot of that bounce does naturally happen, but it did not on that one. It's just, again, kind of a fluke accident that Katie missed that because she hits all the time in practice.
Katie Waldman is 3rd up at the balance beam for William & Mary. She follows up Emma Wiley.
So again, Waldman, one of the 3 all-arounders for the Tribe.
And then Kendall Huff to your right for Centenary, about to begin her floor exercise.
Waldman really just trying to stay calm, kind of keep her mind in the game, keep her mind in the mood. Beam is a tough one, especially when you've got a slightly longer delay. So you see there off to the side, that 9.25, that was Katie Cox's score that came in. So with that fall, had that not happened, again, right in that, a fall's 5.10, so you added 5.975, but I'm sure she lost some more kind of in the ramification, so probably a 9.8 plus.
Now Lauren Kent on bars for NC State as we hit a period there where all 3 teams were waiting on judges' deliberations.
So far, so good for Lauren. Again, one of the unfortunate mishaps last week, but she is ranked 10th in the Eagle on this event, a season high of a 9.9. And a great routine, great way to come back after that fall. Again, right now, Bob wanting 5 out of 6 routines because you count the top 5. So it looks like we are just about ready for Waldman, and floor looks like getting ready as well.
Again, Kendall Huff on the floor exercise.
A little bit chest low on that landing.
She took a lot of momentum into that, yeah.
Yes, I thought it was going to end up great. She just left her chest down a little bit too much. And then the landing was a little bit funky, so the judges are going to deduct some for that. They're looking for clean and controlled landings is what they really look for. Nice 3-flight acro series on the balance beam, so that actually receives a 10th bonus because of the difficulty of it.
Katie Waldman, one of the top gymnasts here today. Certainly showing why on the balance beam.
Looked like a pretty good routine for Huff. Some of those landings, again, the chest down a little bit, not quite as controlled as we'll see from William & Mary and NC State. But overall, a pretty good performance. Season high for her of a 9.475. I think that'll be pretty close to it.
And Rachel, I don't know about you, I saw no movement from Waldman's feet there.
No, that was definitely a stick out of Waldman. Great routine, great finish to that performance.
And a replay of the last on the bars for NC State.
Melissa Brooker, a strong competitor for the Wolfpack. Just that hop on the landing that you could see, and she is happy with that performance. Again, team overall, I think now they can breathe a sigh of relief. So top 6 compete, you count 5 scores. Obviously you want to be able to pick which one, but if you do have a fall, it's not going to necessarily hurt the overall lineup. And it looks like a 9.725 coming in for Waldman on the balance beam.
And this is where we will see Erica Marr following her up. As next on the floor exercise will be Kendall Sanders for Centenary. Brooker was the final competitor on the bars for scoring anyways for NC State. They have an exhibition come in.
Definitely an unfortunate mistake there for William and Mary. They had a low score earlier from a mishap, so now again looking at having to count one of those lower scores. Not exactly what they were hoping for. Again, every team looking for 5, ideally 6 out of 6, but 5 out of 6 is normally one that they'll take. And Marr, one of their strong performers.
Kendall Sanders begins with a lot of energy on the floor.
And I'm just noticing they have 3 Kendalls back to back to back in this lineup.
We just saw Huff. This is Sanders, and Kendall Naps.
Still to come.
Still to come.
So Marr with a dismount there. Again, strong performance overall, just that slight oops and came off the beam. Definitely unfortunate. It happened to NC State on the uneven bar. So, and Centenary with 2 falls on beam as well. Sanders, a strong floor performer. I spoke a little too soon. Normally at a 9.725 or somewhere around there, but just not quite enough oomph on that last tumbling pass. Had to take a seat.
She will be followed by Kendall Naps and then Cammie B. Austin to round things out on the floor for Centenary. This is Caroline Capone next. And then Bree Greenlow for William and Mary on the beam.
See her singing along with the music to some Hakuna Matata on our Capes and Crowns night.
That's right. That's become an annual tradition here at NC State. Capes and Crowns night. Sometimes by a different name, right? It
yes.
Usually incorporates
normally
princesses
and
superheroes, yeah.
Something along those lines. So you got to have the princesses for the girls or the guys. Some guys love the princesses and the superheroes because everybody loves superheroes.
There's certainly a lot of Disney-themed music playing in the arena,
yes.
which is cool.
It's great because everybody knows it. Caroline ready to go. She is a beam and floor specialist, so we will see her on back-to-back events here. Beam a season high of a 9.7.
See an 8.725 for Marr. Of course, that is including the misstep and having to mount again.
So that will ideally be the score that they want to drop. I believe they had a lower score come in a little bit earlier in the lineup as well, maybe a low 9. But again, those few 10s will and can make a big difference.
Kendall Knaps now at the floor exercise for Centenary.
So great combination on balance beam for Capone. And then you saw the slight little misstep. Not a fall, but just kind of a directionality, not quite as of a controlled landing for Knaps on the floor.
Capone on the left side of the screen seemed to be pleased with her dismount.
I thought that was a fantastic routine overall. Huge tumbling pass there. Saw how much extra oomph she had at the end of that. The nice thing is you can cover those rebounds with a jump out of it, and it actually adds a 10th of bonus.
Right.
It's fantastic. You have this huge tumbling pass, you throw in like a split jump or some sort of tuck jump at the end, and they're like, oh, sweet, I'll give you an extra 10th bonus for that.
So that was Kendall Knaps. Certainly got a lot of attention there toward the end of her floor exercise, with being the only event in play.
So we are to the final competitor on both beam and floor for the regular lineup.
So it'll be Bree Greenlow here for William and Mary.
This is typically Greenlow's strongest event. And again, she is the third all-arounder.
Capone appropriately 9.775. I think that fits the way you had described the routine.
Yep. And again, another unfortunate fall for this Tribe team on balance beam. Just been a little bit rough of an event for them, but again, hopefully they can come back on floor. I want to say kind of get their mind back in the game, get their mind back in the meet. Really just brush beam off. It happens. It's unfortunate. There's nothing they can do about it, but kind of take it, learn from it, and move on. And again, she's normally one of their strong performers, a season high of a 9.75 on this event. Normally your anchor position is a pretty strong performer, pretty strong counting score for you. And this one could still be a counting score. It's just going to be much lower than they would like for it to be. So great dismount there, but you could tell just overall on her face, not quite the routine that she was hoping for or expecting.
Bree Greenlow finishes the beam routines for William and Mary, and that leaves us with Cammie B. Austin at the floor exercise in the second rotation.
And it does look like William and Mary has at least one exhibition on balance beam as we wait for Cammie B. And Cammie B actually ranked on this event second on floor out of all the Division III schools. So season high of a 9.825. And you'll notice that purple ribbon in their hair. Actually, all of the gymnasts have that in their hair today. The coach did tell me that one of their uncles had recently passed away from pancreatic cancer. So they are all wearing the purple ribbons for that reason.
Nice act of solidarity for the Centenary ladies.
We've got a slight conference on the floor exercise as they tabulate the score. So when there's a slight discrepancy, too much difference between the scores, they will come together to just kind of see what each other took, what skills they gave, what skills they might not have gave.
This is all in evaluating Kendall Knapp's routine.
As we take a look, this is Taylor White on balance beam.
White, a senior, Chesterfield, Virginia. You see the score for Greenlow, just over a 9-1.
And again, I think some of the changes to collegiate gymnastics that they've made have really caused the gymnasts to add in some variety. So you saw that kind of front toss in a pike position. Normally it's in a tuck position, but again, always looking at different ways where they can add a little bit of bonus. And a great routine for Taylor overall.
And here's Cammie B's first pass.
So great open there with the double bike, nice and controlled landing, which is what the judges are looking for. And again, into that Shushanova is what that skill is called at the end of the tumbling pass. You don't normally see that at the end of a tumbling pass, but she did it great. Cammie B is one of their 3 event specialists. And so far this has been a fantastic routine. So great landings, great control, great artistry. So overall I think we can see where that 9.8, 9.825 range comes from. So I think that was, again, she's at the end of the lineup for a reason.
And she might have been somewhere near that 9.8, 9.825.
I agree.
That concludes the floor exercise for Centenary and concludes our second rotation at Reynolds Coliseum. We'll have scores on the other side, and we'll begin rotation 3. It will feature NC State at the balance beam, floor exercises for William and Mary, and then to the vault goes Centenary. Welcome back, Reynolds Coliseum, the NC State tri-meet, as NC State getting that first 49-plus score for an event of the evening on the uneven bars.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see there the scores overall are huge. They do have to throw out the 9.25 by Katie Cox, and she's also capable of a score in the mid 9.8s to 9.9 range. So overall, this is what the pack wants to be able to do now and through the rest of the season. That definitely beats their previous season high of a 49.075 by almost 3/10, not quite 3/10, but that is huge for them, and that's exactly what they want to take as far as momentum into balance beam.
And afforded themselves the opportunity to drop the one low score. For William and Mary, a couple low scores too many by their liking.
Yeah, William and Mary, I think really they would probably just like to erase beam and maybe try again. So it was definitely unfortunate. They had some great scores. So you see from Katie Waldman there and Caroline Capone, some really big 9-7 score pluses. But again, unfortunately, they had one too many mishaps and have to count a couple of those really low scores. Not what they were hoping for, not what they really expected or what they've trained for. So on the floor, move on, forget it, put the past behind you, and really go out and have a great floor rotation. And
then just as we thought it might be, Cammie B. Austin in the anchor position, a huge 9.825 in the floor exercise.
Yep, ties her season high for that. And again, overall scores in the 9s. They do have a couple of low scores, that 8.8 that they can drop. The 9.15 is not exactly where they were expecting to be. But again, they'll take those few 10s here and there. So overall, I'd put it at a solid 4 out of 6 routines for Centenary on floor exercise. And again, hoping for some really big vaults and some good landings.
Alexis Buechler will get things started on the balance beam for NC State. Jenny Jackson first with the floor exercise for Centenary. Or the vault, rather, as they were just on the floor. But she leads off both events.
She does.
And will be the first up on the uneven bars as well.
Yes, every event she competes in, she is their leadoff spot. So.
And Bree Greenlow, the first with the floor routine for the Tribe, as she has that underway. Jackson. Bit of a hop forward.
A little bit of a hop forward. So again, that tells the judges that there might not have been enough height, not enough rotation. So her chest was a little bit low on the landing. So those are some of the things that they're just looking for overall. And Bree here again coming off of a fall on balance beam, but she's really got to rile up and lead this team off strong on floor. And again, you want somebody that's going to come out and perform, somebody that's consistent in this leadoff spot just to kind of set the tone. So far, she's done fantastic. Season high of a 9.65 on this event. And assuming she can hit this last pass, I think it's going to be right around there. It may actually be above that 9.65. So fantastic routine for Greenlow.
And that's big for William & Mary. As the national rankings are concerned, that's their weakest event of the four. So they can get a good starting spot and some momentum going into the second and third performances. That's huge.
Definitely. Lex Buechler for the Wolfpack on beam. The Wolfpack comes into this ranked second in the Eagle, season high of a 49.125. So the Wolfpack season highs above 49s on everything except vault.
Zion Baumgartner next with the vault for Centenary, as Buechler looks to wrap up her beam routine.
Buechler, a fantastic leadoff person for the Wolfpack team. Very strong, very consistent. Unfortunately, they're going to have to find a new leadoff man next year, as she is one of the graduating seniors. But she has just really been able to outperform herself meet over meet in that spot.
Buechler, as you mentioned, in her final year, Findlay, Ohio, her hometown.
So again, a much better Yurchenko layout from Zion there. A little bit straighter body, much cleaner landing at the end.
And Mary Grayson Gordon second on the floor for William & Mary. All-around competitor, so we've seen her with both the bars and beam.
Gordon, a season high of a 9.625, and she was close on that landing. I don't know if she actually went out of bounds. I couldn't tell if the judge raised her hand or not. But that out of bounds is big because that 10th comes off the average. So the judges calculate the score as normal, and then that 10th would come off. It's not factored into the overall score. So if she ends up at a 9.7, automatically it's dropped down to a 9.6. So that's when that arm being raised becomes large, but I don't know that it went up, so she may have just been inbounds.
Kaylin Foland next on the balance beam there for NC State, as Buechler comes in at a 9.8 even. Leilani Johnson, the third for Centenary. As Foland looks to finish up for NC State on the beam.
Little balance check there, just not quite 100%. Again, the beam's only 4 inches wide, so you've got to be pretty dead on down the middle. An inch to the left or the right can throw you completely off.
And of course, better to correct the imbalance than drop off of the beam entirely. I would imagine that's a large disparity between what's deducted.
Yes, a 10th for a wobble here and there versus 5 for coming off the beam. So they would much rather take the wobble. And you saw just that step on the landing. She was really going for the fight, just couldn't quite hang on there for that stick.
Now Kendall Sanders for Centenary. Another all-around for her.
Sanders a strong vaulter, season high of a 9.6. And hangs on to it. A couple of steps back, but again, they'd rather have that than the fall. I saw her warm up a couple of times and I didn't see her land one, so I was really hoping she could just get it to her feet.
So she does just that. As now Katie Waldman, third in the lineup with the floor exercise for William & Mary.
That was a huge double pike. I don't know that you can tell exactly how high they get on the floor at home or from the camera, but sitting here, I mean, a normal-sized adult could have easily walked under that double pike. Waldman ranked 8th in their conference on this event with a season high of a 9.75.
Lauren Kent for NC State on the beam.
Lauren's one of the top Wolfpack performers on this event, ranked 5th in the Eagle Conference on balance beam.
Waldman's final pass. Again, a lot of air.
So much air.
Saw assistant coach Brittany Emmons taking the reins today. Excited about that finish in the background of that shot.
And again, that was a fantastic score. Like I mentioned, the Tribe just needs to come to floor and leave it all out there. And so far, they have done exactly that. The last 2 routines have been fantastic. So small wobble there from Kent on the balance beam as she gets ready for her dismount.
Consecutive Kendalls for Centenary. Kendall Sanders, now Kendall Huff. There's just 2 left to vault for the ladies. And Lauren Kent wraps up on the balance beam. Casey Nelson to follow her, who's a beam specialist.
In Centenary, some of their vault scores coming in a little bit lower, but what we haven't seen most of them do is some of the twisting that you saw from NC State and that we'll see from William & Mary as well.
Just based on what they're doing, there's a lower ceiling.
Yes, there's a lower start value. So they come in at a 9.7 range for most of them. You see a tuck full there. Again, not a 10.0 start value, so that's automatically going to make their scores lower. And then when they're not as clean in the air, when their body is not straight when it's supposed to be, their toes aren't pointed, they take those steps on the landing, all of those little deductions really add up.
This is the first we're seeing of Casey Nelson. She'll take part in the floor exercise next rotation as well. Junior from Marietta, Georgia. And the first we're seeing of Elizabeth Snoddy of William & Mary on the floor exercise.
And I did see that judge's hand go up. She was clearly over the line on that one. So unfortunate, but this floor is very springy, and so you do have to be able to control your momentum and your landings. She just had a little bit too much excitement. Nelson a season high on balance beam of a 9.8. You can see Elizabeth's teammates all in the background doing the floor routine with them.
Maybe my favorite part of doing these events. It's just so fun to watch the teams get
Not only do you memorize your floor routine, you also memorize every teammate's floor routine. It's much easier to do it in the background. You don't have to do all the tumbling and run out of breath. But again, outside of that step out of bounds, I thought that was a great routine. So fantastic tumbling. She had a lot of height. It was very clean overall. She just had at the beginning a little bit too much momentum, took that step out of bounds. So again, that will come off the average of her score, as Casey Nelson has a huge finish there on balance beam. But so far the Tribe is doing fantastic, and so is the Wolfpack.
Now a look at Cammie B. Austin, the anchor for Centenary on the vault. This is the replay just a couple of moments ago.
A great vault for them. Again, looking for that straight body throughout. She did throw in a half twist there, so that actually comes out of a 9.95 start value. You could see a couple little hops there on the landing, but overall, that was clearly the best vault for the ladies of the evening. And it comes in at a 9.7, so definitely reflected in the overall score.
Chloe Negretti there next on the beam for NC State.
Again, Negretti ranked on this event, and then third consecutive time being the Rookie of the Week in the Eagle Conference.
Rose Deschler, an exhibition there for Centenary on the vault. And Caroline Capone of William & Mary next with the floor exercise. First pass.
Nice big smile at the end there. Again, great height, great rotation, very clean and controlled landing. So exactly what the judges are looking for. Having a lot of fun based on the facial expressions.
Teammates seem pretty excited about Caroline's performance here. A lot of torque in that last pass as well.
Yes, that night.
I lost count of how many turns
Two
there
and a
were.
half. It's one of the E tumbling passes, so a 2.5 twist. I guess if you're into like snowboarding, it'd be like a 900-degree something or other.
Something that I'm sure somebody watching can relate to.
Yes.
So useful information.
Yes, gymnastics counts it in like fulls and halves. So you have a full and a half, a double. But you get into some of the other sports, and it's like a 360.
360 at a time, yeah.
But
that's a bigger number. That's more intimidating to me.
It is.
2.5 spins, that's a language I can speak.
Yes. You don't want to do a 720. Negretti finishing up her fantastic beam routine. A nice landing there. And
very consistent for NC State so far.
Congrats all around.
Slight step back with the left foot, but otherwise fairly clean dismount.
Always very calm and collected. You don't see those facial expressions out of Chloe as you see from some of the others, but it could also be an experience thing. She is a freshman. You know, you've got Capone that's, I believe she's a senior. Drew Grantham, obviously a senior, so some of the leaders on the teams normally take those to the next level.
Sixth and finally on the floor exercise for William & Mary will be Taylor White. You see Drew Grantham there getting ready for the balance beam.
Grantham right behind Kent on beam in Eagle competition, so ranked 6th overall, but a season high of a 9.95. So absolutely capable of huge scores. So Grantham, the lone competitor right now. We've got a small judges conference on floor.
And Chloe Negretti scoring a 9.825 there on the beam routine prior to Grantham.
And again, she's capable of bigger scores too, a season high of a 9.9. But you wouldn't be able to tell by her facial expressions. She got off the beam and was like, okay, that was, that was a decent. Not upset, not ecstatic, but
probably
a 9,
looked
8,
the
2,
exact same way for the 9.9 too.
Right.
What you said.
Now again, assuming Grantham hits this routine, we will see a completely different ending. A huge smile, some jumping up and down, something along those lines.
For the finish.
Just that small hop. See? There. So again.
Grantham, I'll give her this though. Laser focused until that point of relief.
Until the end, yes. Yes, definitely some great experience under her belt. She knows exactly when to turn it on and turn it off. It is not over until it is completely over. Most people make that mistake at least once in their career where they think they've got it in the bag. They kind of let up the focus and then end up making a small mistake.
Now Taylor White to finish out the third rotation. Last on the floor exercise for William & Mary. Well inbounds there.
Some great cheers from their assistant coach before that second tumbling pass. And White, again, a strong performer. Season high 9.7 on this event. Always just a fun one to watch, just because you really see the gymnast personalities out there.
As an exhibition is over on the balance beams for NC State, a 9.85 for Grantham.
So again, some strong scores all around. And White does not put that heel down. If she would have put that heel down, that would have been an out of bounds. But she, again, veteran move there, kept that toe up. And she is excited about that floor routine. That was a great finish for the Tribe on floor.
A great run for William & Mary, capped off by the senior who, again, off screen, still jumping up and down.
We'll take a full screen look over at Aaliyah Harrison for the Wolfpack. Sophomore right here in Raleigh, North Carolina.
It's a nice cheer for her exhibition routine. And that does it. NC State might have liked to have used that one.
They might have. That was a great routine. But their beam team overall they're strong. They're ranked second in Eagle competition on that event, season high, that 49 plus. I know they're hoping for another 49 today. So they've got a strong beam lineup, but they do have a couple of seniors that they're going to have to replace next year. You may as well give more people the opportunity to compete because you've got some big shoes to fill with Grantham and Buechler.
Strong scores for NC State on the balance beam in rotation 3. We'll see how all three teams stacked up as we move into rotation 4 on the other side here from Reynolds Coliseum. Darren Vaught, Rachel Garland back with you at Reynolds Coliseum for the NC State Tri-Meet as the Wolfpack concluding things on the balance beam in the third rotation and getting yet another 49 plus of a combined score.
Yeah, that's exactly where the Wolfpack wants to be. So it is still not quite to their season high of that 49.125, just a tenth below that at a 49.025. But overall, some pretty strong scores, getting to drop that 9.625 out of Kaylin Folan. But you still see some scores in the 9.7 range there, and what they'd really like to do is get every counting score to a 9.8 plus. That's the overall goal for the Wolfpack. They've got some great away meets coming up, and so they definitely have the capabilities of doing that. But overall, a strong rotation for the Wolfpack.
And William & Mary moves to finalize this meet at the vault, but with the floor exercise, some pretty solid routines all throughout.
Yes, they really came back from balance beam. So they had a fantastic floor event overall. You can see the low score there. You can pick which 9.65 that you want to drop. It doesn't really matter which one it is. But overall scores in that 9.6, 9.7, 9.8 range. Again, they're still wanting to get those up a tenth or two if they possibly can. But coming back from where they were, I think floor was a fantastic rotation for them. It was really fun to watch them.
Centenary, a quick trip to the vault and had some struggles, but they've bounced back pretty well at each event with a routine here or there that's dropped their scores.
Yeah, you can see that highlight out of Cammie B. Austin, that 9.7, so she had a fantastic vault. Overall, though, the ladies, their vault scores just don't start from as high as some of the others, ranging in that 9.7 range, and then you throw in 2 to 3 tenths of deduction, and you can see where some of those 9.3s and 9.4s come from.
William & Mary to start. Emma Wiley the first on the vault.
And again, that one, that Yurchenko layout that we saw quite a bit of the Centenary team do, those ladies. So looking for that straight body, it only starts from a 9.75. So again, you're already down a couple of tenths compared to all these start values at a 9.95 or more. But they do have 110.0 start value from Katie Waldman, which we'll see in just a little bit.
Lauren Kent first up for the floor exercise for NC State. It's their strongest event.
Yeah, season high of that 49.4, huge score, ranked first in the Eagle Conference, ranked 18th nationally. So they are in the top 20 on this event, and we're about to see why. So that huge double pike there. I mean, to the point where her toes were even pointed in the air. We'll see a lot of the Wolfpack gymnasts do a double salto in their last tumbling pass. That actually gives them an extra tenth of bonus.
There's Taylor White for William & Mary on the vault.
And a huge hand front tuck. I think that she should work on adding a half twist to that to get that start value up a little bit. She had a little too much momentum, had a big step at the end of that, but that was a great vault.
The final pass for Kent.
You see the teammates there with the Wolfpack in the air, trying to give their teammate as much energy as they possibly can. And a fantastic routine for Lauren Kent. Season high of a 9.825 on floor exercise. I think that's going to come in pretty close to that. That was great.
Katie Waldman next for William & Mary. And you talk about the ceiling or the maximum possible score that routines can get. The vault for Waldman, based on the way she usually does it, the only possible 10.0 in today's event.
Yes, on vault, she's the only one that is doing a vault worth a 10.0. Her season high, I believe, is a 9.8, so I don't know that she's ever gotten that 10.0, but she is, if she does it perfectly, she is capable of getting that score. And it's a very unique, you'll have to pay attention, it's a unique vault. She's going to do a round off onto the springboard a full twisting back handspring onto the vault table and then do a piked somersault off of it. And she does it fantastic. So little slight, if I'm going to be picky, slight knee bend and maybe some flex feet outside of that step on the landing. A couple of tenths in deduction. I think that was a great landing for them.
Potentially close to that 9-8 season high for her. The landing in and of itself would tell me that we won't see that 10-0
yes.
yet.
She would definitely have to stick the landing there. And again, our angle's a little bit different. The judges may have wanted a little bit more height, a little bit more dynamics, but they have a different viewpoint than we do.
Now Emily Shepard with the floor exercise for NC State. That was a big movement on the first pass.
Another, yeah, exactly, a huge double pike. It was done almost perfectly. I don't know what deduction they're going to take. They are allowed to on floor take that controlled step on the landing, and that's exactly what she did. You've got the split screen with Centenary on uneven bars, just that step on the landing on the double back dismount, but overall pretty good routine.
I believe that was their second up, Sierra Ponder, for Centenary.
There again, you see Shepard's teammates trying to give her any extra oomph that they can on this last double back. But I don't know that she needed any.
No, clean landings on every pass by my estimation. Now, that's not anywhere near what your estimation is. And then, as you mentioned, the judges seated in different spots, but the Wolfpack seemed to have liked it.
Yes, great celebration afterwards. They're going to be excited over fantastic routines. I think that's going to be close to her season high as well. A 9.875. Those landings were just about as perfect as you could get.
William and Mary forges on with the vault. And Erica Marr to follow up Bree Greenlow. And Casey Nelson, third up on the floor exercise, gets things started.
Nelson ranked 7th in the Eagle on this event. Such a strong and fun performer. And it's great because she knows she nailed that tumbling pass. A 2.5 into an immediate punch front, which does give her extra. She gets bonus for the 2.5, let alone adding a punch front to it. And she knows she just rocked it.
And again, just a smile and a look as if she knows she nailed it on the second pass.
Definitely.
Part of the emotionality. This is the most expressive event.
Kendall Sanders, you saw there, finishing up on the uneven bars. The all-arounder is now completed for the ladies. So Nelson, one of the few that doesn't do the double back in the last pass, but because she does flips and combinations, she still gets a 10th bonus.
Finishes what was an impressive routine. Now to the vault.
I believe that was Erica Marr finishing up a layout Yurchenko with a half twist there at the end. So again, worth a 9.95. Just a step on that landing, but overall pretty clean.
Marr waited a while there. Following up Bree Greenlow, just one more participant on the vault for William and Mary. It'll be Mary Grayson Gordon. while Chloe Negretti gets ready for her floor exercise for the Wolfpack.
And the final three competitors for the Wolfpack team are just huge scores overall. So Negretti, season high of a 9.95. Lex Buechler getting her season and career high last week right here at home, a 9.95. Add in that extra .05 there. And Grantham, a 9.9 as well. So again, really strong final three competitors for this Wolfpack team.
Zion Baumgartner now for Centenary. And finishing up the vault, Mary Grayson Gordon.
And a great routine for Baumgartner there for the ladies, a 9.65 of a season high on that event. And again, another huge double pike. Almost had a little bit too much energy when she took that step back. Her front foot lifted a little bit, so the judge will take a little deduction there. But other than that,
she didn't stay in bounds. So.
She stayed in bounds. It was big, maybe a half 10. Final double back for Negretti. And a great landing. So again, maybe just a couple things here and there. I don't think it's going to be her 9.9 floor routine, but it's still going to be an extremely strong score overall for the Wolfpack.
And pretty impressive when one of your floor exercises can be sort of a ho-hum or just going through the motions with it, not particularly good, and probably looking at something like a 9.8, right? I mean,
right. Still a very
good
score.
It's a testament to how easy the Wolfpack's competitors make it look in some cases.
You see Taylor Ann Wilson for the ladies on bars had an unfortunate slip up, had to remount.
Particularly upsetting for Taylor Ann because this is her only event today.
It is. She is a bar specialist. And again, just that little hop on the landing there. So not the routine that she was hoping for. Other than that, it was her routine itself. The skills were pretty clean. Just had that mishap coming off the bar.
Now Alexis Buechler for NC State.
So Lex again coming off a career and season high last week, 9.95. Her routine was, to me, it was flawless. I don't know where they found a half-tenth in deduction, but somewhere they did. You see that score coming in for Baumgartner. That's 9.725 for Centenary. And Lex has actually moved her way down in the lineup. So she used to be the leadoff man on this event. But as she's gotten better, slowly worked herself later and later and later in the lineup.
Now fifth with only Drew Grantham to go.
So we had Casey Nelson ranked 7th in the Eagle. Buechler actually ranked 5th in Eagle on this event. And I'm pretty sure every Wolfpack fan in here is throwing up the Wolfpack sign now before the last tumbling pass, which is fantastic to see.
And you described her last performance on the floor exercise as perfect or being as near perfect as you could see.
This one, I think there were
not a lot of slip-ups, but
not
just
a lot.
some
But I
small
don't think it was.
intricacies.
Yeah, it just wasn't quite as crisp, wasn't quite as clean as last week's. Again, it's still going to be a 9-8 plus, I would assume, because it was a fantastic routine.
And now Kendall Huff finishing the bars event for Centenary.
She was able to hold on to that handstand on her release move, held it right on top of the bar. Fought so that she didn't fall off of that one, and then a great dismount, just that small hop on the landing there.
So that wraps up Centenary on the bars and wraps up their evening as we await Drew Grantham.
And a 9.85 for Buechler. So again, not quite as clean or as crisp. There were little things, but again, that's being very, very nitpicky. To the normal person watching gymnastics, they're probably not going to see too much of a difference. But again, the judges that have been doing this for years upon years, they do it.
You certainly saw more than I did because it looked like a great routine.
Again, I kind of equate it to football. I can't always see all the like fake handoffs and
Right.
that kind of stuff, but somehow the refs catch everything.
And a 9.85 is very good.
It's still
too.
good.
So my eyes did not deceive me necessarily.
No. Grantham ranked first in the Eagle on this event. Again, season high of that 9.9. She's capable of more. I believe her career high is actually a 9.925. And I'm pretty sure Emily Shepard on the side of the screen knows every single routine.
I was going to say, credit our crew. That's a great shot as she's doing it simultaneously.
And the thing is she's a freshman, so she's learned them all this year. If that tells you how many times they do these routines in practice. That was huge. You could tell Drew's face at the end. She knows she rocked that floor routine. If that's not close to that career and season high, I don't know what is.
She's had quite the evening, really pleased with herself. And
you see the girls shouting for that 10. I don't know that it's going to change the judges' minds.
it rarely does, I would say. Right?
It rarely does, but they've already calculated their score, so you know it's pretty quick because there's not much to calculate when it comes in and they're still on the floor.
Now here's Kendall Knaps finishing up an exhibition set on the uneven bars for Centenary. As we await final scores, because that wraps up the floor exercises.
She ties her career high, 9.925.
And there you see 9.925 to wrap things up for the Wolfpack. So we'll take a quick break from Reynolds Coliseum. Coach Kim Landris is going to join us as we conclude this evening's broadcast here at Reynolds Coliseum. Reynolds Coliseum, the NC State Tri-Meet just concluding, and third-year head coach Kim Landris joins us of NC State. Coach, what a way to finish a night with Drew Grantham in that performance, tying a career high on the floor exercise. Overall, what did you think of your team's performance tonight?
You know, I thought that we started off the meet strong on ball, and we kind of just took one thing at a time, pieced it together. Vault, bars, beam, floor, never got ahead of ourselves. We talked about being one pack, one routine at a time, and I really think they did that great today. So
coming into a meet like this, at this portion in the season, what's the mindset for a team? Because with this one, Rachel and I discussed the average scores entering tonight and the disparity between your team and William & Mary and Centenary. It seemed as if competitively it might not stack up to be this winning this meet isn't the goal necessarily. So what did you tell your ladies about what to improve upon, what to build upon tonight?
You know, I think we always just talk about us. Last week I talked a lot about learning from what we could have done better. And so heading into this meet, we know that we compete against everybody in the country every single weekend. We're fighting for regional qualifying scores, our placement, everything. And so they know every 10th matters. It doesn't matter your opponent. We just got to make sure that what we do in practice, we bring to the competition floor, and that we know that we want to continue to climb up that ladder every single week.
And as we wait and detail final scores coming in here shortly, Coach, moving forward, the remainder of this season, what would you like to see your team build on and improve upon?
You know, we have another meet on Sunday, so you know what? They can be happy tonight. They should give themselves a pat on the shoulder. But then, you know, it is. It's a quick turnaround. This is one of my favorite weekends of the year, the double meet weekend. But tomorrow we're going to reset. And you know, I always say, you just break it up. So we do this every single day in practice. So the girls just have to continue to get after it, be hungry. They are hungry. They want it. They're a great group of individuals who really have heart, have desire. So, you know, we got to just keep on rolling, keep on doing what we're doing, and we can never let down.
Coach, thanks so much for the time. Congratulations on a great meet tonight, and best of luck on Sunday.
Thank you so much.
That's Coach Kim Landress of the NC State Wolfpack, again in her third season at the helm as the NC State Tri-Meet concludes this evening from Reynolds Coliseum. So for Rachel Garland, I'm Darren Vaught saying so long from Reynolds Coliseum at NC State University, where the Wolfpack concludes with a 196.5.